A millionaire arrives home late. What he witnesses in the kitchen alters his life forever. Grace. The soft voice came from behind her as she rinsed the bowl at the sink. Grace turned quickly, wiping her wet hands on her apron. Standing there was Oliver, his blond head lowered, his small shoulders slumped under a weight far heavier than any 6-year-old should bear. "Oliver," she said gently, her voice warm but tinged with worry. "What are you doing here, sweetheart? Shouldn't you be in your room with your toys?" He shook his head. "I don't want to play." Grace dried her hands and walked over. She bent down and scooped him into her arms effortlessly, lifting him onto the counter. She brushed a lock of hair from his forehead, noticing how pale he looked. "What's wrong?" she whispered, gazing into his watery blue eyes. Oliver pressed his lips together, then suddenly asked, "Can I stay here with you?" "Of course," she said, cupping his cheek. "You can always stay with me, but tell me what's on your mind." He hesitated, glancing at the fruit bowl, at the neatly stacked dishes, at anything but her eyes. Finally, he whispered, I don't have a mom." Grace froze, her breath catching. She had been expecting this moment. Children always notice, always compare. But the way he said it, so plain and broken, pierced her. "Oliver," she began softly. "She left," he interrupted, his little fist tightening on his red shirt. She walked away. "My friend Jacob said his mom kissed him goodbye before school today. Liam's mom packed his lunch. Even Emma's mom came to watch her soccer. But me? I don't have one. Just you." Grace's eyes burned with tears, but she fought them back, steadying her voice. "Oliver, listen to me. What your mother did, it wasn't your fault. She made choices, bad choices, but you were never the reason." The boy's eyes lifted slowly to hers. "Then why does it feel like it's my fault?" His voice cracked. "Why didn't you want me?" Grace's heart nearly broke. She pulled him against her, his small frame fitting perfectly against her chest. "Oh, Oliver, no, no, no. You are wanted. You are loved. Do you hear me? You are loved more than you can ever know." For a moment, he was quiet, his head pressed against her apron, listening to her heartbeat. Then, in a trembling whisper, he asked, "Then can you be my mom? Forever?" The words struck like lightning. Grace's throat closed, tears spilling despite her efforts to hold him back. "Oliver," she choked. You're here when I'm sick. You read to me at night when Dad's not home. You make me laugh. You hug me when I cry. You feel like a mom." His tiny hands gripped her arms tightly. "Please, I don't care about anything else. Just say you'll be my mom forever." Grace's chest heaved with sobs. She couldn't stop anymore. "Sweetheart, I would give anything to be your mom. Anything, but I can't change what I am." She cupped his cheeks, forcing him to look at her. "I will never leave you. I will fight for you. I will love you as if you were my own. That's my promise." But she faltered, her voice breaking. "I can't take the place of the mother you lost. That's not fair to you." Oliver's lip quivered. "I don't want her. I don't even remember her. I want you." His eyes brimmed with desperation. "Don't say no, Grace. Please don't say no." Her hands trembled as she stroked his hair. Every instinct screamed to say yes, to take away his pain with one word. But her mind reeled with the consequences. She was a maid, an employee. His father was her boss. Lines could not be crossed. And yet, staring at this little boy who clung to her as if she were his last hope, Grace felt those lines blur and fade into nothing. "Oliver," she whispered, her voice shaking. "If it were only up to me, I'd say yes 1,000 times. I'd call you my son and never let you feel lonely again." He interrupted, pressing his forehead against hers. "Then say it anyway. Just for me. Nobody else has to know. Please." Grace's tears fell freely now. She kissed the top of his head, her voice barely audible. "Then yes, for you, my love. I'll be your mom forever." The word seemed to heal him instantly. Oliver clung to her neck, burying his face in her shoulder. His small body shook, but now with relief, not grief. Grace rocked him gently, crying with him, and in that moment, They didn't realize Richard had been standing in the doorway the whole time, his chest tight as he listened, the teddy bear slipping slightly in his grip. His son had asked a maid to be his mother. His son had begged for what he himself had failed to give. Richard stepped further in, his voice rough. "Oliver." The boy turned, startled, his face streaked with tears. Grace froze, guilt flooding her expression, as though she had been caught stealing. But Richard didn't look angry. He looked broken. "Dad," Oliver whispered, his voice small, almost apologetic. "You mean what?" Richard asked, kneeling now, eye level with his son. His sharp business tone was gone, replaced by a rawness Oliver had rarely heard. "I didn't mean to make you mad," Oliver stammered. "It's just all my friends have moms. They bring them to school. Tomorrow's contest. Everyone's mom will be there. And last night you can come home again. I didn't know who else to ask." His throat tightened. "So I asked Grace." Grace closed her eyes, unable to stop her own tears. "Mr. Walker," she began, but Richard raised a hand gently, silencing her. His gaze never left the son. "You wanted her to be your mom," Richard said softly. Oliver nodded, trembling, "because she's always here. She doesn't leave. She takes care of me when you can't." The truth cut like glass. Richard's hand shook as he set down the briefcase and teddy bear. He reached out, resting one hand on Oliver's shoulder. "Son, you're right. I haven't been here the way I should. I thought giving you this house, all these things, would be enough. But it's not, is it?" Oliver's lips quivered. "I just wanted someone who wouldn't leave." The words shattered Richard completely. He turned to Grace, his eyes glassy. "And you? You've given him what I didn't. You've been his mother in all but name." Grace shook her head, choking back a sob. "I never wanted to cross boundaries, sir, but he needed someone. I couldn't watch him cry himself to sleep." Silence filled the kitchen for a long moment. Then Richard drew, in a trembling breath, "Tomorrow, the contest. You'll go with him." Grace's eyes widened. "What?" "I should be the one there," Richard said firmly. "But if it means my son won't feel alone, then you'll stand in that place. Not as the maid, as the woman who's cared for him when no one else did." Oliver's face lit up with fragile hope. "Really, Dad? She can come." Richard nodded slowly. "Yes, because she's family, Oliver. She always has been. I was just too blind to see it." Grace pressed her hand to her mouth, overwhelmed. Oliver threw his arms around her neck again, whispering, "Thank you. You're my mom now." Richard placed his hand on both of them, his voice breaking. "No more loneliness. I promise. From now on, you'll never feel like you don't have a family again." The next day, when the contest began and children stood proudly with their parents, Oliver didn't shrink back. He stood tall, holding Grace's hand on one side and his father's on the other. For the first time in years, he didn't feel like the boy who was missing something. He felt complete. And Richard, watching his son beam with pride, realized wealth had never been a measure of a man. It was love, the kind he had just witnessed between